ABC
Assalamu alaikum.
or Dr. ABC. Welcome to the show.
How's everyone?
Assalamu alaikum to our listeners in
How's
Sheffield,
listeners?
Nottingham, Peterborough, and Derby, and all those listening across the world through our social media and our website. Welcome to the show, and I hope you enjoy the discussions today. As always, we're going to discuss items of interest to the Muslim community and the wider community, I would say. And we're going to talk about things which have been in the headlines for the last week or so. We've got a couple of items we wanted to discuss, but Dr. ABC, you've got anything, a short item to mention that maybe caught your headlines this week in the news at all?
Well, it's this furore going on with Trump and the BBC, and
Oh, yes.
And I have to say, I really don't see what all the fuss is about. I mean, editing happens all the time. The fact is, he did say what he said, and the Capitol building was that there was a riot. There was a riot.
You know, that's another.
And for the life of me, this is what I don't get. I've got to be honest. I really can't see what all the fuss is about, because the reality is, okay, he didn't say the two things. We're going to fight like hell after he said, you know, we're going to go down and we're going to cheer on our representatives. I mean, he did go on to say, if you don't fight like hell, you know, you're not going to have a country anymore. But what was the result of him saying the second part towards the end of his speech? Well, they did go down there and they did ransack,
Indeed.
you know, the Capitol building. That would be equivalent to the Houses of Parliament literally being trashed in our country.
Indeed.
You know, so I've got to say, for the life of me, I really don't know what all the fuss is about. But...
Indeed. Well, what we're going to discuss today in terms of what's on the international scene, I think that's a very good topic. Perhaps we could have covered that in a different section.
I think for next week, I think this is he's not going to let it lie.
He's not going to let it lie.
Wouldn't let it lie.
He's not going to let it lie.
He's not going to let it lie.
Right. Okay. If you're a keen observer of Pakistani politics, you may have observed or noticed that the constitution of Pakistan has been changed. It's been changed in some extraordinary ways. We've got some really, really high-profile guests, I guess, who are going to talk about it. But just to give you a summary, so there were some rumors about the changes to the constitution for the last couple of weeks or so, and the changes happened this week. The constitution has been changed, and two of the key highlights for me were reinstatement of the Chief of Army Staff. It's been retitled, rebranded, and he can stay on for as long as he wants, even though he's got a 5-year tenure. But what's alarming, really, is the fact that he has a clean chit, meaning he can't be touched, basically, for life. So if he has committed any wrong, or if he's going to commit any wrong, he can't be touched for life. And similarly, the president has been given the same, same protection, that he can't be touched for life, under the new changes in the constitution. And also the Supreme Court has been ripped apart.
Surely that's going to end up with a situation where they're basically going to say, okay, well, I've got this position now, so carte blanche. It doesn't matter if I make any mistakes. I can literally do what I want.
Absolutely. Well, we'll discuss that in a minute. That's a very good point. We'll discuss that in a minute. We've got on the line, we've got, I believe we've got Zahir Shah Shirazi. He's the editor-in-chief of Nawai Pakistan. We've got Rana Javed, who is a journalist and geopolitical analyst. And we also have Senator Lieutenant General Abdul Qayyum. He's the former chairman of the Senate Standing Committee on Defense Production. Can I welcome them all? Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Friday Night Live, gentlemen. And happy to have you on our show. If I can go to first of all to Lieutenant General Abdul Qayyum, please, if you can comment on that, because my starting point was around the the change to the military structure, although there's a lot more things that are included in the changes. Your comments on that, your thoughts on the reasons behind it, what's likely to be the outcome of it, basically. So, Abdul Qayyum, sir? Okay, all right. He's not. Can I put the same question to Zahir Shah, please, if you wouldn't mind? The changes to the military structure and what the implications of that are, please.
Yeah, this question is towards me.
Yes, please. Yeah, you wouldn't mind.
Oh, thank you very much for taking me online. You see, it is not changing the constitution. It is one of the amendments. You see, already we have done 26 amendments, and all constitutions in the world, they are from time to time, they are amended according to the requirements of the country. So this is 27th amendment, and in this we are talking of higher defense organization of Pakistan has been readjusted and reshaped for better, higher direction of war. So you see, in many countries in the world, like Canada, Australia, Malaysia, Italy, Britain, and even United States of America. In some countries, they had chief of defense staff, and in America, they have a chairman, joint chief of staff committee. They are there to organize and integrate the three services together, because in the modern battlefield, it is not only one land army and land operations. It is not only air operations or naval operations. It is also the cyber warfare. It is also space is also a factor. It is sea, it is subsea, the submarines and all that. And to integrate everything, you need a higher headquarters. And there have been studies in Pakistan for many decades which recommended that we need to have a chief of defense forces or chief of defense staff to sort of integrate, to synergize all these things. So now they have issued an amendment, and in that they have formalized it. And I think that will be good for the armed forces, for the unity of command, and that some of the people who are criticizing it, they are thinking that the CDS has very big powers and that may undermine the authority of the political government. I don't think so it is true, because in any case, the chief of army staff has the army under him, and it is our armed forces. In our armed forces, the land forces possess a pivotal position because of their strength, and also on ground, because with air strikes, you cannot really neither get the area vacated or occupy an area. It has to be the boots on ground, and that they are provided by the army. So therefore, I think it is in that spirit. But you also talked about the lifelong they cannot be challenged or something. That is there, yes. But when in the other countries also, the field marshal, they can retain their uniforms to attend to any national days. But their tenure, when it finishes, 3 years or 5 years, or if they are given any extension, thereafter they lose that appointment. But they are called field marshal. Like, for example, in Britain, Field Marshal Guthrie was retired because he was the best CDS, and because of his services in Kosovo and all, he was given that honor of Field Marshal. And after retirement, then he was also made the Lord in the House of Lords. So therefore, he was Field Marshal Lord Guthrie, who recently died, unfortunately.
So I guess I understand the field marshal title, but I think what's on people's minds really is the fact that there's carte blanche immunity against any wrongdoing that has been done or potentially will or may be done. That's what's of concern to people. Perhaps you want to comment on that?
for the uniformed people, in any case, when they are in service and wearing uniform, the armed forces have their integral system of making them accountable. So therefore, I think in that context, if there is anything which is reported, and then they have kept a way out that if the parliament considers impeachment of the field marshal, so they can do that because the power is with the parliament. But that's the fact that the president and the field marshal are being given immunity.
But I think some people would argue that the politicians perhaps haven't got although they might have the paper-based authority, they haven't got the authority to exercise that. Perhaps if I can bring in Rana Javed Sab, perhaps you can comment on what's been said about the risk that potentially of any wrongdoing that may be perhaps as a result of the authority that's been given to the new army chief. Perhaps your comments on that?
Well, I think this entire constitutional amendment is a personal specific. It boils down to one point, and that is Army Chief General Asim Munir. I think in a very systematic manner, he has completely manipulated the system. And for him, there should not be any gray area. I think the problem with our brothers in the military, I'm talking about the military generals, not the entire military, that they see the things in black and blue, and they don't see the gray area. And it looks like whatever they think is the gray area, that is being completely altogether eliminated. Now, this is unheard of, this is unprecedented, that a government official of grade 22 would be given a kind of the immunity that was previously even now the president of Pakistan enjoyed. Now, he not only he cannot be prosecuted on any charges as he stays in the office, but also after his retirement. I think this doesn't make sense. And again, everything boils down to the one point: what is the reason that he had to go for such an extraordinary immunity? The reason being is Imran Khan. It's a fear of Imran Khan because he's the most popular leader. He's in jail on obviously hugely politically motivated charges, and he's not giving in. And that is a core reason. And the fact that the previous elections were hugely rigged, and these were the purely a bogus election results, like just the names were changed, and then the judges have been changed. There have been constitutional amendments, and then a political party which had won just 17 seats in the national parliament in directly contested elections, they were given a majority in the parliament, and then the party which had won with a 2/3 majority, it has been reduced to a smaller political group. And I think that is the reason. Let me finish. I think that is the reason. And then there are huge allegations against the General Asim Munir that he's responsible for kidnapping, torturing, and arresting thousands of PTI members and prosecuting them. I think that is the fear, because the fear is that in case Imran Khan returns to power, and then the General Asim Munir should have some constitutional cover. And let's not forget that the previous amendment, not in this particular case, was made literally at a gunpoint because many members were kidnapped. So I think in a broader context, now the judiciary is no more there. The constitutional regime is all over. And many judges are resigning, those who were honest, who were independent. The judiciary has now become a kind of a government department, which means that it is a kind of a situation where it has been made it sure that the Imran Khan stays in jail, and there is no legal challenge to any military officials who were allegedly involved in all kind of the politics.
Can I just bring you back? And that's one interpretation, basically, the fact that this is Imran Khan specific and is for protection of the army chief from, any future sort of activities that Imran Khan might do. But I'm pointing to the risk, the fact that this is unprecedented, that an army official or a president or anybody, office holder has carte blanche, has protection for life. And the fact that forget what's happened in the past, and there's a possibility that in future there may be, an opportunity to do worse things. Your comments on that, please. Rana sir?
You are asking me in future.
Yes. Yes.
I think the bigger problem right now in Pakistan is that the people feel suppressed. There's no press freedom. There's no political association. No protest. In two major protests which have happened during last 2 years, I think hundreds of the people have been killed. And there are. I'm not saying it because these are the charges have been leveled by the victim parties. Now again, now those political parties like PTI, like TLP, they cannot go to any court of law. Now everything has been systematically is being given cover. It looks like the country's military journals they want to make Pakistan not somewhat like Saudi Arabia, somewhat like China, where everything is controlled. This is a different country. People has an orientation of somewhat democracy. In the past there used to be selective rigging in the elections with little proof, but now this time around there are so many huge proofs. Everywhere there are proofs because these are simply bogus election results. Now again, these cannot be challenged in the court of the law. If they are challenged, then obviously the result would be those challenges would be knocked down. It looks like the General Assembly wants to continue to hold on for maybe next 10 years, 15 years, but God knows what is going to happen. But I think the people feel suppressed, and I think this is a complete departure to the democracy, complete departure to the constitutional norms. It looks like that the dictatorship in Pakistan has been quote unquote constitutionalized. Keep in mind that this National Assembly, this Parliament, is an outcome of a bogus election results. So to begin with, it does not have any legitimacy, so it cannot legislate or make any constitutional amendment. My understanding is that it is a matter of time that all these constitutional amendments and all the fake legal structure that has been enacted, it is going to fall down. It is a simply matter of time because the history of Pakistan is that the people do not put up with this kind of situation. Yes, Pakistan military is a professional military. The military generals are politicized, but as a whole, we have to see the broader picture. The military is facing challenges from Afghanistan, from India, and Pakistan has beaten up in India in black and blue. There has to be chain of command, but their problem is that why the army chief has to be the head of the all three forces. That is a problematic area. This has to be rotated.
All right. I think Lieutenant General Abdul Qayyum Sahib already mentioned the fact that it's an operational decision made. But Lieutenant Sahib, if you could comment on what's been said so far, it does appear to be that this constitutional change was person-specific because Asim Munir Sahib is the net beneficiary from the changes made. What would you say to people who say that Pakistan is now adopting the Egypt model where the army is effectively in control of all of the institutions, not just the armed forces?
Pakistan has a democratic dispensation, a parliamentary system in which there is a president, there is a National Assembly, there is a Senate in which has a representation of all the 4 provinces and even even from the 5th province. And in the National Assembly and the Parliament and in the Senate, we have representation from all the 4 provinces. In Senate, equal representation. And from all parties, people are there, including the party of Mr. Imran Khan, Tariq Insaf. They are there. They are part of the parliament, and they have been taking part. They have been heading different committees. They have been part of the decision and so on. So therefore, I think we can make many sweeping statements and very speculative statements. But the fact remains that purely when I speak as a defense person, who has been associated with the military defense policy and military strategy. I feel that we needed a higher headquarter, because our chairman, Joint Chief of Staff Committee, had no powers to really coordinate the three operations. In addition to that, the cyber warfare and everything. So that was the need of the hour, which has been done. If one says that this all the amendments were Imran Khan specific, I don't believe it that way, because Imran Khan is behind bars because of his misdoings and all that, and he is answerable, and the courts are listening to them. Secondly, the last election.
You could argue then, if there's an operational need, you could argue that the next person in line could have taken that role, and Asim, General Asim or Field Marshal Asim could have retired, because he's due to retire this month. Could that not have happened?
Yeah, you're right, because initially the Chief of Army Staff and the three services chiefs had a tenure of 3 years. But then the Parliament passed a law, and in that they said that the chiefs will have 5 years tenure. So he was not retiring now in November. He was to retire after 2 years, after completing 5 years, like the Air Chief and the Naval Chief. But now he's been made as the Chief of Defense Staff, and that post also has a tenure of 5 years. So he will be there. Continuity in the policy is always good, and but at the same time, every post has a tenure, and that tenure, when it finishes, the next man comes up and he takes over. So therefore, I think that already, and then the Parliament has approved it. You see, there are two-third majority, the people who are sitting in the Parliament has made this amendment. I would agree with my friend when he says that maybe next government comes, and if they have two-third majority, they will have the right to change to even, and this has been happening. When General Ziaul Haq was there, he brought in the 8th Amendment, and he had the powers to himself to remove a government and all that. That was then cancelled subsequently. Then the Amendment 13 came and 17 came and all that. And therefore, I think today they enjoy two-third majority, and they have made these. History will not forgive them.
Okay, Lieutenant General Saab, could I just got a few more minutes basically left over, but I just wanted to, you brought the point of the government basically making these decisions, but there's no debate. There's very little debate on this change in the constitution in the parliament, and very few voices were actually heard on one side or the other. So it seemed like this was passed within 8 minutes or so, the whole constitution. So it seems like it was a rubber stamping activity. Your thoughts on that?
The parties, different parties who voted for it, and that is how it became two-third majority. They would have not voted if they were not taking it into confidence. So on this amendment, the consultation was continuing for many weeks and maybe months. And thereafter, when everybody agreed on them, then it was presented, and all parties. The Muslim League Nawaz doesn't have majority. It's a small party. Similarly, People Party doesn't alone, they cannot make it amendment. MQM was with them, and other small parties, they just all were together. That is why they got a very good two-third majority, and that is how they did it. So therefore, discussion, yes, before it was presented in the Parliament, in the Senate or the National Assembly, I think a lot of consultation was done, and these were certain things were quite understood, that this army needed a higher defense command, because when this post did not exist, even then, this Field Marshal Asim Munir was coordinating all that, what happened with India in those 4 days. And that is how the things were really coordinated by the GHQ. And this has now been formalized. And if it is not acceptable to the people or the elected representatives, next government comes, they can make changes. And I think that is the
all right. Just in 30 seconds, that's all I've got basically, Rahman Saab, your view on the fact that the politicians did this, not the army.
Not at all. This parliament has been selected by the army chief. because out of a bogus election results. And most of the members of the parliament, I believe, they even didn't know what these constitutional amendments are all about. It's a rubber stamp, and they had absolutely no idea. This is unrepresentative of the parliament. It has no business with the people of Pakistan.
All right.
The man who has won the election, he's in jail.
All right. Okay. I'm going to have to leave it there. Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Senator Lieutenant General Abdul Qayyum Saab and Rana Javed Rana Saab. Jazakallah khair for your contribution. Until next time, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum. Listeners, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back after these small messages.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tassin. I am a Hokkoring Masjid Kids Inspire competition, and you are listening to Inspire on 105.1 FM.
Hi, I'm Adam and I study media at Barnfield College. I first came here for an open day because I've always had a real passion for media and creating content, and I wanted to see what courses were on offer here. That open day honestly changed everything for me. I found a course that perfectly matched my passion. The tutors and students I met were so inspiring, and the facilities were incredible too. If you're looking for somewhere to study a course that fits your future goals, come along to Barnfield College's Autumn Open Day on Saturday 15th of November. Visit barnfield.ac.uk to book your open day.
Did you see that guy on TV?
What, that no comment guy?
Yeah, he was sick. What was his name?
I think it was Atiq Malik.
Yeah, Atiq Malik of Liberty Law Solicitors. Atiq Malik heads up the criminal law team at Liberty Law Solicitors, specialising in everything from serious crime down to road traffic offences.
To find out more or for a free telephone consultation, call 01582 459955.
Liberty Law, there when you need us most.
What if we all smiled to a total stranger, instead of walking past them if they were danger? Even smiled at those who hate us. Perhaps their hearts would soften and they would embrace us. Smile when it rained, showing gratitude to Almighty, what He has created. Smile at our brothers and sisters, so that it creates love and removes suspicious. Smile even at our neighbors, something our Prophet faces with eagerness. Smile on trivial materials, escaping from jealousy and hatred. Smile at those who are in distress. Pray to Allah to give them happiness and success. Smile to please the most kind, the most merciful. Allah will love us indeed. Allah will love us.
A large and elegant wedding and events venue in the heart of Luton, catering for up to 1,200 guests, with a 5-star food hygiene rating, plenty of parking, bridal suite, family rooms and prayer facilities. Crescent Hall's the perfect venue for your wedding, events, parties and conferences. We have some great offers for summer. Contact us to find out more. Call 01582 723386. Email bookings@crescenthall.co.uk or search for us online and social media. Crescent Hall Luton. Conditions apply.
Imagine facing a brutal winter without shelter and under constant attack. From the flood victims in Pakistan to the refugees from Syria, Yemen and Gaza, Families Relief is distributing essential winter aid worldwide to help the poor and needy with poverty, disease and basic necessities. Together, we can save lives. Donate now by calling 0114 365 4454 or visit familiesrelief.org.uk. Act now to make a difference.
आज भी हम दीन के मामलों में लाइल्मी की वजह से बहुत सारी गलत फहमियों में मुब्तला हैं और इल्म हासिल करना हम पर फर्ज है। हमारे इल्म में इजाफा करने के लिए मैं पेश करती हूँ प्रोग्राम दीन और दुनिया।
Every Thursday at 11 a.m.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 6:30.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspire FM at 105.1 FM. This is Friday Night Live. My name is Zaffar Iqbal, and with me in the studio is Dr. ABC. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. ABC.
Hey, wa alaikum salam to everyone out there listening.
Interesting discussion before the break.
Very, very interesting. Unfortunately, I didn't have an opportunity to talk to the guests, but I think we should revisit those guests again, maybe in a couple of months, to see how things develop, because the point that kept coming forward in my mind: where are the checks and balances once they're given to the field marshal?
Carte blanche, lifetime immunity.
Yeah. So whilst they're in post, so where's the accountability to the prime minister or to the president? So for example, what if you have someone in post that goes rogue? What if you have someone someone in post with all of that power in charge of the Air Force, the Navy, the Army, because that's what this post basically brings. It brings governances of the three force by one military person. That's what the chief of staff means. So where's the checks and balances if that one person goes rogue and tries, for example, have a military coup?
Indeed.
I mean, we know these things have happened in Pakistan before.
Indeed. He's probably heading that way anyway. But anyway, that was a discussion before the break. I think we had really good guests, I must say. Really good guests.
Yeah, they were very passionate. It was nice to listen to them, actually.
We had a military
they clearly had completely different opinions, but it was nice to hear very different opinions.
You had a military spokesperson, right? And we had a journalist, basically. Both knowledgeable, both knew what they're talking about. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. Inshallah, we'll bring them back again.
Yeah, definitely. We should visit them again. They were good guests.
We're going to move on now. The next segment of the discussion today, another tragic area of the world, basically, where there is killings and torture and rape and all sorts of horrible things going on. We were used to seeing all of those things happening coming out of Gaza, but now more focus is being put towards Sudan, another area where this war has been going on for a lot longer, much longer as I understand it. I guess the amount of killing happening is basically still, not acceptable, really. So this is just to give you a little bit of a background. I think we've got our local correspondent. We've got Michael Dawud Isa on the phone. Assalamu alaikum, Isa. Are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, wa alaikum salam, brothers. How you doing?
Alhamdulillah, lovely to have you here.
I'm going to make a hash of making the introduction, so perhaps you can do that instead for me. So this is a war in Sudan between two factions of the army, which has been going on for several years. Perhaps you can fill us in on the two protagonists, first of all, and we can talk about what's going on in detail at the moment.
Yeah, well, from what I understand of it, brother, I've been trying to look into this for a while, but it's not mainstream news at the moment, unfortunately. Yeah. There was a dictator, as usual, a brutal dictator. I don't know if we get any other types these days, but his name was Omar Bashir, and he was ousted. To summarize it, he was a brutal dictator of Sudan, and in 2019, he was ousted in a military coup via two of his then colonels. Okay, one of them was Mohammed Hamad, and he is the leader of the Rapid Support Forces, which is the RSF, and the other one is Abdul Fattah al-Burhan, and he is the leader of the Sudan Armed Forces, the SAF. Okay, so them two have been going at it since they shared power loosely, sort of, in that region. And in 2021, those two factions, those two militia groups, have now started fighting with each other since 2021, and this has caused up to 13 million people to be displaced in that short amount of time, which is the population of London, Birmingham, Luton, and some other towns put together.
Indeed, it's
it's huge. It's the worst humanitarian crisis anywhere in living memory. I mean, at this moment, anyone that's involved in it said there's been nothing like it. And we've seen some horrendous things around the world, as we're used to seeing, unfortunately, on the news and most nowadays on the social media. But this seems to surpass the worst of the worst.
If I remember, you talked about Bashir, the sort of head of the Sudanese government at that time, the dictator, whatever term that you want to use him. But there was a popular uprising against him. People basically revolted, and I think, like the spring the Arab Spring in Egypt, there was an expectation that there would be a representative government. And I think for an interim period of time, I think there was hope and potentially there was moved towards having a government like that. And then I think these two factions started fighting each other. There was some story behind it as well, in a sense that there was a lot of pressure from UAE on the Sudanese, the interim government, Sudan interim government, to recognize Israel as part of the Abraham Accord. And there were some conversations or talks about the fact that maybe what we're seeing today is a result of that pressure being mounted on the different factions of the army or the government in Sudan. Any information on that?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, there's always, the fact is there's no good guys and bad guys in this conflict, okay? Right. There's just different levels of bad guys. Mm-hmm. So you have the UAE is in support of, alongside, underhandedly and undercover, they are in support of the RSF. Now, the RSF used to have the capital, I think it's called Khartoum, and then they had the west of Sudan. Now, the west of Sudan is where the gold mines are.
Correct.
That's that location. Now, the other ones, the SAF, are in charge of the port of Sudan, and now they've made headway. I think they've now taken the capital back.
They have, yeah.
So they've basically got the east, and they are backed up by Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Turkey. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, every country in that part of the world has got a hand in this. There's no innocent people here. And we can say the UAE are controlling it for the gold, but they can't get the gold out unless they have the port. And the port is strategically important because it controls the flow of traffic from the Indian Ocean and China up into the Mediterranean, and vice versa from the Mediterranean into the Indian Ocean. So it's a vital port that will help control the Red Sea and then going up into the Suez Canal. So every country wants to have a play in this part in Sudan at least.
It's a strategic gateway from Africa or West Africa into the east, I guess. You mentioned a few names there. You mentioned the fact that you've got Saudi Arabia, which is up against UAE, which is different from the scenario you see in Yemen, where UAE and Saudi Arabia are part of the same alliance.
Well, they was part of the same alliance because it was then the SAF that were the soldiers that were going to Yemen to fight the Houthis. Mm-hmm. Because the Saudis and the UAE don't fight their own fights. They get Africans to fight for them. Mm-hmm. So now they've swapped sides. Now the UAE are now backing up the RSF. So they've jumped sides. But I suppose they'll all jump sides depending on who they think they can back to get control or to get some sort of authority in that country, because whoever holds that country, there's gold mines there, there's access to the Red Sea and everything else. So it's strategically placed, as you might imagine. But like I said, this is why it's such a cloudy waters, because this is a Muslim on Muslim genocide.
Indeed, and I think that you point to the genocide element of it. There's a location, I think there's a place called Al Fasha in Darfur, which is why it's in the headlines now, is because there's a genocide going on there. And any comments on that at all? Any information you managed to find?
Well, we get snippets out. I mean, charity work is very hard to get in. I know there's a charity that I work with called MATW. They've got camps set up in Egypt, mm-hmm. but and they can help them with shelter and food and medicine, everything when they get there. But actually in Sudan, there's very little coming out, at least from what I can gather from the charity and the different charities. Whether any charity can fully get in there and help, I don't know. And I think they're stopping aid coming in anyway. I think the RSF are actually stopping everything getting in to anyone.
Indeed. Another tragic part of the world, basically. I think that we've seen the motivation, but nothing should be an excuse or a reason for killing innocent people. And I think that's what's happening here. We've got innocent people caught between two factions who are fighting essentially what you're saying is geopolitical war, geopolitical sort of war for advantage of resources, which I guess is a common theme in many parts of the world.
Mm-hmm. It is a common theme, but the difference with this one is I believe there's two major players why this isn't getting the sort of media coverage that it would normally get. Because if this was happening in Ukraine, we wouldn't be able to go to sleep because the news would be full of covering this. If anything close to this happened in Ukraine or in Europe, we wouldn't, this would be the only thing that they'd ever talk about, However, I think, and it's my personal opinion, I'm not saying it's the opinion of anyone else, the reason this doesn't get a lot of attention or the same attention it does in the Muslim community is because they're Black Africans, one, and it's Muslims killing Muslims and Muslims killing Christians, and that's uncomfortable. And also that all the Muslim countries around there have hands in this. It's like they've all got their play in this. Even Egypt, even Israel, UAE, they all seem to be in this somewhere,
And the sad thing is that the latest figures are now showing there's 26 million people facing food insecurity on the verge of famine.
That's amazing. Well,
yeah,
but this is bigger than some countries.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it?
This is a bigger number. So if there was, I don't want to go back to the racial thing again, but if this was happening in a country where the people were white,
yeah, it's a third. It's a third of the UK population, near enough, isn't it?
Yeah, look, there's more people being displaced than there is people live in Canada and Ireland put together. So, but it doesn't seem to matter because they're Africans and they always seem to be moving around. People seem to be immune to it. But these are human beings and they're Muslims as well. And the perpetrators of these crimes are Muslims backed up by other Muslim governments.
Indeed. I think that's a theme in other places of the world as well. I think Sudan is no stranger, I guess, to these kind of things. So, Brother Issa, Jazakallah, thank you for your contribution to the discussion today. At least we got a little bit of a background into why this is happening, but it's totally unacceptable, to be honest, what these sorts of things happening. The innocent people are being killed, in many parts of the world. It's the innocent people who get caught up in this at the end of the day.
Yeah, unfortunately, it always is, isn't it?
Indeed. Jazakallah, Dawi, we'll catch up with you again at some other occasion. Listeners, we're going to move on to another item of discussion now. Before this is about an event that's happening in Luton. There's a new party called the Your Party, which is having an event this Sunday. We wanted to talk about that and find out what's happening and what the purpose of the meeting is. But before that, if you remember last week, we talked about Sami Hamdi. Sami Hamdi was arrested in America by ICE, the immigration force enforcement agency in America, and there was a possibility that he could have ended up in jail, incarcerated for months while the legal process kicked in.
I thought they were sending him home again.
He has been released. I think he released a statement as well, which I may be able to share with you guys. Perhaps the admin people can share that admin statement. Sorry, the statement. He's actually back in the UK.
Yeah.
The federal court basically intervened and they managed to hear his case, and he was exonerated and he was allowed to go. And he's actually back in the UK. And I think this is a clip from his statement that he made earlier on today.
Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. It's good to be home. It's nice to finally be back amongst the clouds. I want to say that it's wonderful to be back after being exonerated by 2 federal judges, both of whom found that there were serious breaches of freedom of speech. I want to say that this wasn't just an attack on me. It was an attack on the freedoms of ordinary Americans and citizens worldwide. It was an attack on their freedom to speak the truth in the face of hatred. And I think that my message to the Americans, as somebody who grew to love America, who loves its people, who saw the wonderful kindness and generosity and hospitality in every single state except New Hampshire. I didn't get the chance to go to New Hampshire. It's the only state I didn't go. I saw that the Americans were amenable to truth. And I think that the reason that my visa was targeted was not because of anything that I was saying, but because Americans were listening. Because now public opinion is shifting, because people are seeing the truth. There is a concern amongst bigots, amongst extremists, that if the truth gets out, it will truly change the world. And that's why I am pleased that I was able to return home. I'm pleased that the judges found that my freedom of speech rights were infringed upon. And I'm pleased that my voice is back and that the extremists will never win. They will never prevent our voices from being loud, from resonating with the world. And I want to thank everybody who showed solidarity, everybody who stood alongside me, everybody who stood alongside justice. And I want to finish on this point. I am not the story. I am not the story. The story is one of the most heinous genocides of our time. The story is about kids who had their heads blown off. The story is about kids who had their legs blown off. The story is about innocent women and children who were bombed into oblivion for crimes they did not commit. This is about apartheid and occupation and how to stop the final apartheid outpost that exists in our modern world. I am not the story. The story is about a world that is waking up to the truth. The truth is louder than hate. The truth is louder than the bigots. The truth is louder than the extremists. They failed to silence me. They will continue to fail to silence all those voices of truth. And I'm glad that I am here in London, where our freedoms are also protected, and they will be protected in America as well, thanks to the cooler heads in the federal court system. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you to everybody who shows solidarity.
That's Sami Hamdi. He's a popular commentator. He's been on this show as well. He was in America on a tour, basically a speaking tour, and he was arrested by the immigration officials in America. And he's been released. Basically, he's back in London and back in the UK. Right, good to hear. Right, I think we've got Atiq Malik, who is going to talk a little bit about your party. This is a new political party that is being put together, and he's going to sort of basically describe it, because I don't know a lot about it, to be honest. So, Atiq, Assalamu alaikum. Are you online? Can you hear us?
Assalamualaikum, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, hello, Assalamualaikum.
So Atiq doesn't need an introduction. He actually spent many a days broadcasting from where I'm sitting at the moment. But he's a personality now, mashallah. He's a legal expert, and he does delve into politics every now and then, I'm told. Do you delve into politics, Atiq, at all?
Yeah, I like to dip my toe into it now and again.
Indeed. And you're going to tell us about your party, or my party, or his party, or
yeah. Well, this is the thing.
Party?
I mean, we've got a group of people at the moment, primarily being led by Jeremy Corbyn and God, this is not good. My brain's gone blank.
Zara Sultana.
Zara Sultana, that's it. Yeah. So Zara Sultana and Jeremy Corbyn.
I think you're having the same problem as I was having, but I think you're probably 20 years earlier. I'm just having it now.
So they founded a movement. It's not legalized yet. It's not actually got a name. It's got no structure. It's got no policies, no procedures or anything as yet. The thinking behind it is bottom-up politics. That it will be led by the people who will dictate from the various communities what should be the policies in there and what they should stand for. Our position is, as a community, in Luton, nationally, globally, we're under attack. You've seen from the journalists that just spoke now, you've heard the stories. And when I say attack, it's in literal sense. People are literally being attacked up and down the country because of their race. Fascism's on the rise, reforms on the rise. The Labour Party are not listening, the genocide hasn't stopped. And what we as a community need to decide is, what do we do about this? How do we strategize? How do we mobilize? And so this meeting on Sunday is more about...
Oh.
Don't know what happened there.
So we got to a point there.
And our job is because...
You're back.
He's back.
Oh, it's gone again.
It's gone again. Can we get that connection back, please, admin? Oh, he's back again. Is he back?
Okay, maybe they can call him back. No.
Oh, we're having some connectivity issues.
There.
So the Your Party is a new party by Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana. So there's an event happening this Sunday, basically, where they're trying to introduce the party to Luton.
Yeah.
So
do you know where that's happening?
I haven't got the details, to be honest. I'm sure they are on the website if you basically Googled it. That was a good question that we could put to Atiq. And we were hoping to speak to another person from your party, Glenn Jenkins. I'm not sure he's online yet, so maybe admin can expedite that. Interesting point that Atiq is made around the fact that this party is going to address some of the inequalities in the UK.
Well, I think
Labour Party has actually abandoned some of the inequalities.
I think one of the biggest problems that we have in British politics is the influence of very wealthy donors, situations where they give hundreds of thousands of pounds, if not millions, and of course they're not given that money. They're not given that money across, not receiving to get any benefit. And my understanding is that the whole rationale for starting this new movement, your party, is to get large grassroots support. So they've got to the point where they're up to about 600,000 people that have shown interest and given donations. The only reason I know this is because I myself have given £10 several months ago.
Okay, well,
simply because the rationale for it is about grassroots support, rather than looking for small numbers of very, very wealthy donors that are going to be able to very much polarize the direction of the movement. Exactly as Atiq said, that the whole idea of it was to be a grassroots movement.
Right. Atiq, are you there? Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Atiq? We can hear bursts of conversations from him, but I think the connection is not good. So yeah, I think there's a big gap there, isn't it? Right? I think previously social justice was a big part of UK politics, but people seem to be moving away from that and more towards.
I mean, to put it into perspective, they've got more people that have signed up than the whole membership of the Labour Party and the Tory Party combined. That'll perhaps put it in perspective for your listeners.
Indeed. I mean, to be honest, I think if I remember correctly, when Jeremy Corbyn joined the Labour Party, there was a big sort of, I guess, big influx of people who joined the Labour Party as well.
Well, yeah, I joined. So back in 2019, I was one of the delegates at the.
You're giving your position away. You're a commentator.
Oh no, I left. So Corbyn addressed the National Education Union teachers conference at Liverpool Docks. And I was so inspired by what he said. I'm not kidding. Literally that night, in my hotel room, I signed up and I joined the Labour Party. And I left about 2 years later because of the whole influence of Starmer.
Yeah, Mr. Starmer. But I think there seems to be a bit of a trend, isn't it? People who speak the language of the common person.
We're not listened to.
We're not listening.
We're not listened
to.
But
anybody who raises their voice, and I'm talking about Mamdani. We talked about Mamdani a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
So he's speaking the language of the people, basically.
Yeah.
He's speaking. He's actually sort of.
And it's interesting. I don't know if you've noticed that the new leader of the Green Party. He's that lovely Jewish man. His name is
Zach
Polanski. Zach Polanski, yeah, really nice man, and he fully supports the anti. He actually openly supports and says he's anti-Zionist, and he's a Jewish man.
Well, there's many that we've spoken to on this radio who are against Zionism, to be honest. Speaking up.
Well, I remember you interviewed the guy from the Jericho.
We had two rabbis. We spoke to two rabbis as well.
Hi, can you hear me?
We got you back.
The Tick's got the technology now. Welcome back.
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can. You need to be quick though. You're down to 1 minute.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay, so very quickly, we cannot let people dictate to us who we should follow just because they use certain terms and all the rest of it. It's up to us as a community to hold people to account. So whether it's your party, whether it's the Labour Party, whatever it is, we need to hold them to account and ask them, what are you really going to do for us? And we as a community need to decide how we move forward. Do we even vote? Do we not vote? How do we strategize on the streets, mobilize in politics or institutions? Because we're under attack on all different levels. And it's time to mobilize and not just sit around thinking about it.
Indeed, indeed. Very well said. We got about 30 seconds. We need to sign off. On and on.
Where is this happening quickly, Attic?
Grand Park Hall, Park Street, Sunday 2 p.m.
Sunday 2 p.m. There you
Grand
go.
Park Hall, Park Street, Sunday 2
Okay,
p.m.
listeners, Jazakallah for listening to us today. Until next week, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and hope you enjoyed.
Wa alaikum salam. Have a good weekend, folks.
Have a good weekend.
With Brother Farouk.